All right, welcome everybody. We are live tonight here again on Marsie Talks Live. He is a self-taught house flipper who flipped his life from retail employee to real estate entrepreneur and is on a mission to show others the path to success in real estate. Stay tuned for another amazing Marsie Talks Live interview with Jeremy Rubin, aka the Friendly Flipper. I am so excited to have him on tonight because I know even myself, I'm going to be learning quite a bit and getting my nuggets in too. So I'm Marsie McCann, everyone, and I started working online over 3 years ago, motivating and mentoring aspiring digital entrepreneurs launch their new business. And I go live every single week here on Marsie Talks Live, where we have real talk with real people having real success in their life and in business. Now, for those of you guys just tuning in, make sure you give me an 8 in the comment section. Yes, I said it, drop an 8 in the comments. This will subscribe you to the show, all right? And on YouTube, make sure that you hit that big old subscribe button, and this will subscribe you to the channel, and this way you do not miss out on any of the MTL interview replays. Now, like I said, I have Jeremy Rubin coming up. He is ready to share his journey to success and really how he started closing 5 and 6 figure deals flipping real estate, guys. So you're going to learn so much. But first, let's give a quick shout out to everyone tuning in. Let me go over to the comments. For all the MTL viewers, make sure that if you guys are on, you are sharing out. Sharing is caring. Share and tag a friend that you feel will benefit from the content on this channel. And also, Jeremy has something special that he's going to share with you guys at the end. So make sure you stay tuned until the end. We have Sharice on. Sharice says, hey, Marsie, thank you so much for dropping an 8. I see you, girl. I see you. Let's go ahead and see who else we've got coming on. There's someone else on there. Maisie. Am I saying the name correctly? Maisie, thanks so much for hopping on. So like I said, guys, Jeremy Rubin is coming on. I'm going to bring him out, and I want to welcome our special guest, Jeremy Rubin, aka the Friendly Flipper. So awesome to have you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great, Marsie. How are you?
I am amazing. I'm super stoked because I know we had our little pre-interview conversation and we talked a little bit about your journey. And, really how I started following you was when you were doing those Facebook Lives with the siren light. I mean, that was just so catchy to me. And I know that was a while ago for you, but I remember you from that time. And I said, I've got to reconnect with him and get him on an MTL interview. So yeah, what's been keeping you busy these days?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you reaching out and having me on the show.
Absolutely.
Busier than ever. House flipping. I mean, that whole business has been scaling that up, and then also working a lot on my Friendly Flipper Academy, the education business, where I help other people turn their house, basically start house flipping businesses or turn their house flipping businesses into, or hobbies into businesses into those. So things are nonstop
wow.
in a good way.
Yeah, so. That's good though. I mean, you're a full-time entrepreneur, and you're not, like you said earlier, you're not putting numbers on the board for somebody else. It's all you. And so you make that, determination there in terms of your success. So share with everyone, because, you come from a retail background. I mean, you spent 13 years working as a retail sales associate, and, from that to now flipping homes, closing 5 and 6 figure deals, just in real estate. Like, was there anything you liked about working as, a retail salesperson?
Was there? Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
So it started off, I mean, it was a great job through and through. It was a great job. And I learned a ton from it. That's the biggest thing. I was thinking about that the other day, that as much as I didn't like it towards the end, I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't have gone through those things. Just, wow. Especially like, I think, well, the sales and management, like those two things, I took a lot away from those experiences that I think I almost apply just almost automatically to my house flipping business. Whereas I probably would have had to learn those things or bring on help to learn those things had I not. So definitely there was like a ton of growth and takeaways from that. But at the end, it got to the point where I kind of felt like I was no longer growing. I was no longer, and I wasn't really meant to fit in because I could either go down. I mean, you could continue to grow and go like climb the corporate ladder and stuff. But that was right around the time when I was like realizing that I think maybe there's something better out there than a lot of really thought this was the best job actually for a long time. Now that I'm thinking, it was really like the best. I was really scared to leave it. In fact, like
security,
thinking there was not another thing out there that I could make money at, like without failing possibly, or which. So I stuck with it. Fear kept me around for a long time. And that's where I kind of started to detest it, because it was like, man, I have all these obligations financially and I have to kind of stay at work to pay those things, but I want to leave. But it's like, I'm not growing because I don't really want to do more. I don't feel like going down the corporate ladder. So that's where I found myself after 11 years at one company. So
let's go back to that really quickly, because you said, you had everyday things that needed to be taken care of, like bills. And of course, you had to keep roof over your head. And so you're working that job, you got comfortable, and you kind of stuck there, thought that was the best way, obviously. But then fear obviously didn't allow you to push out of it, right? And there's a lot of people that I'm sure watching, and even individuals that are still working their job, trying to pursue their entrepreneurial journey, that are kind of in the middle phase. And I know I was there, so I know that feeling. How did you transition, out of that being fearful and being an employee to just, like taking things full force?
I realized I had a moment that when I realized that they needed me, the company needed me more than I needed them. And prior to that point, I had always thought the opposite. It wasn't like a overnight instant shift where I just like, oh man, just had that, just like, oh, I realized that. But it was like, hey, what's going on here? Hold on a second. Like, I'm seeing all these people like over time come and go, and like just seeing like most careers not lasting that long, and realizing that maybe I'm bringing something to the table, so maybe I can apply these skills elsewhere. Like, I kind of started to realize, like, maybe there's something to the value I'm bringing here. And then that's when it all kind of changed. That's when I'm like, hey, there is. Yeah, because then I realized a job is just a job. Like, I put so much like, because I saw so many people come and go, and then I saw like just putting numbers on the board, and I realized how I was just such a number to them. Like,
how interesting.
Like no matter how much time you put in, like no matter how long you've been there, like, because I also saw people just like, getting laid off and whatever. And so it was like all that coming together. I'm like, hey, I'm not that safe here. It's not as secure. It's a false sense of security that I've had.
Wow.
In ways. So it's actually not that risky to try something different. Like, because if I ever had to, I have this job. I mean, I have a resume. I could go back, and that gave me confidence to start, I think, going out after, more things. But I still didn't jump off, and I didn't quit my job until I knew I was had a path.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I can relate to that in so many ways. And I'm sure, those viewers that are watching and trying to make that transition as well, or that are currently full-time entrepreneurs and that have work, they can relate to that, because it's sort of like you start to realize, well, just like you said, it's a false sense of security. I mean, and then the company can let you go at any given time, and you're putting numbers on the board for someone else. So it's like you're building something that's not truly yours. So I can so relate to that. But let's just take it back, like a little bit back to when you were 14. You shared a story in a Facebook Live that you did yesterday, and I was so happy I caught that because you really you were like on there for like over an hour and a half, and I was like, man, this is good stuff, And I was listening to you, and you said that you started working for $5 an hour at 14 years old, and like share that with us because I kind of want to know, what motivated you to keep going at 14, and then of course you were going to school as well. And how did you manage it all,
Well, yeah. So 14 years old. Yeah, basically I'd always grown up in a family where I was taught if I wanted something, I had to buy it. So basically, and I was given opportunities to earn money or encouraged to go out and, like if I wanted to I took a piece of paper and made a flyer and put it on the mailbox, Jeremy's bike polishing service, because
wow,
when I think I was like 7 or 8, like because other bike people in the neighborhood, kids in the neighborhood, rode BMX and would take their bikes to the track and stuff, and so I'm like come up with this idea. Okay, so I could clean the bikes up after the track. So $1.25 is what I put on the flyer.
Wow.
Put it up there, went to my neighbor next door, and he was the kind of like the main guy who took everyone to the track, and presented the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out my mother's polish I just picked up for like $7 at AutoZone, and he was like, "Oh, thanks for offering that, but I got my own can of mother's polish right here," and, and it was like, we polish our own bikes. And but my dad was my first customer. He supported me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Polish his bike, but that business didn't take off. But my parents supported like my efforts, and definitely so. But it was like if you got to work if you want to.
Wow.
So 14, yeah. So that turned into there's a local place where they made furniture, distressed old wood and old, just like fences and tables, and just they would reuse old stuff. And so, but they'd have to take all the nails out of it so they could like sand it and cut it. Need to. So they'd hire, child laborers, I guess, looking back.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so during one summer, did that. So that's how I was able to manage. It wasn't during the school year.
Okay, so you did that during the summertime. Okay.
Yeah, pulling rusty nails out of boards.
Yeah. I mean, when you shared that, I was like, man, how did he do go to school and do that? And then you were saying it was like $60 a week, and at 14, I'm sure that's a lot for you at 14. But here's my question. I mean, it sounds like your parents, of course, you don't come from a wealthy family. I don't really, if you want to share a little bit about that, but were they always supportive? It sounds like dad supported you and your drive and your entrepreneurial drive.
Yeah. No, I say, middle class. We always had a roof over our head, food. We always had everything we needed. But it was always like hard work was always like encouraged, and like looking back, that's like, that's a huge like lesson, that like overall kind of thing that I'm super thankful for.
Absolutely, because I'm sure it helped you in your journey even now, as an entrepreneur and so on, and your business and everything else that you've got going on. So let's talk about the Friendly Flipper. I mean, how did the brand come about, first of all, and what made you go with that name, the Friendly Flipper? I mean, it's so catchy.
Oh, well, thanks. It's a combination. I mean, actually, so the story behind the brand, the whole thing is I figured out how to flip houses. At this point, I wasn't the Friendly Flipper. I was just Jeremy flipping houses. Figured out how to get out, rid of my day job situation that I didn't want to be in. And I was flipping houses for about a year, and then went to Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con in Miami in 2017. And that's when I went there kind of thinking like, oh, I'm like badass. Like I'm a business owner. And then
It's Grant Cardone. What do you mean?
Well, hey, this is the first I've heard of him actually. I just prior to that, a few months, I didn't know even what to expect in going to that conference. I just knew this was just around the first time I started exploring like personal development, like even like all this, like breaking into that circle of kind of like that whole thing, and it was actually my a real estate podcast that I had heard, who interviewed Grant Cardone, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I ended up getting on his mailing list, and then got an invite to GrowthCon. I'm like, "What the heck? Go for it!"
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be good stuff there. I don't know what, but it'll be good. But it like was not only good; it was like life changing. Like it like totally like changed my entire perspective on how little I was doing, even as much as I had progressed from who I was like a year before. As I thought, it was like totally like I was doing nothing, and it was a lot. It was still self-centered, like it was all self-driven, like around. It was all me, like ways. My life leading up to that, and so kind of like it opened up a lot of things from that perspective. But so at GrowthCon, Gloria Mayfield Banks comes out on stage talking, introducing herself with this like rhyme that's like, I'm like, dang, that's like, whoa, I'm gonna remember that forever. Like, and I'm like, that solves my problem of people not remembering my name. Like, because I'm like, that was one thing that I always, I was like, people don't really remember me. And then like, Grant's all talking about breaking out of obscurity, and then you've got like Tim Grover saying, be who you really are, and don't care about like what other people think. And so like this is all like brand new to me and like mind blowing. And so that is what prompted me, like the combination of like, okay, something that people remember, and then breaking out of obscurity, like getting out in front of my business and being the face of it, rather than a lot of house flippers that I had like followed up to that point, or like it's kind of runs in the background, like house flippers kind of a lot of, unless it's like a show on TV or like a celebrity thing, it's like mostly goes on behind an LLC or a company name and a real estate agent. I don't be like the face of the business. I was like, well, whatever, I'll take it head on. Like, let's take a different approach. So, so that kind of came in conjunction with the rhyme introduction thing, and that on the way home from GrowthCon, on the plane, I'm writing in my notebook, like trying to figure out like different like rhyming things, and it was like a week later, I put hashtag friendly flipper on an Instagram post.
Yeah,
a friend liked it and was like, "Dude, that's really cool. That's catchy." And like,
it's catchy,
kind of catchy. And then from there it was like, oh dang, like it like became like a thing. And
a thing,
and yeah. And along
with that's really what caught my attention when I, was scrolling through my news feed, and I would see you on a live, and it wouldn't just be, of course, the siren, or, that you were holding up to grab people's attention, but it was the name itself, Jeremy Rubin, the friendly flipper. And I was like, what is he flipping? And see that's automatically like gets people, like gets in their head. So that's just like awesome, and so here's what I'm taking away from that, in a sense, is you being the face of your brand. Do you think that that's ultimately what really helped you expand in your business and allowed your business to grow exponentially to the extent that it has? Because I mean, you're going to share with people how you're closing those 5 and 6 figure deals, and of course, we'll go into that a little bit more. But do you think that you putting yourself in the forefront of the business and showing your face out there and being that friendly flipper is what also helped the brand and the business?
I think, yeah, I think without a doubt, like the journey, like that was like the decision to become the face, the front.
Yeah.
but like that was just like the pin on the map of that's where I want to go. Like, but
Yeah.
where that's pulled me through, like, that's the craziest part. Like, as far as like, it's totally required me to come out of my comfort zone in terms of like going live on like
Yeah.
on Facebook. Like, I had never done that before prior to that. Um, and to be friendly, like a personal, it's like literally, it's a commitment to myself to like, hey, be friendly. Like,
Gotta live up to that.
not
Yeah.
that I've never not been like friendly, but I'm naturally pretty introverted, and so, and even prior to the last few years, I've been a lot more just quiet, and just so.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't help business at all. I
Yeah.
mean, for one thing, it doesn't help in life, but it's personal and business growth, But like, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, kind of
There
thing.
you
Like,
go.
the kind of thing where it's just, and all of this stuff I mentioned, that's a Brad Lee quote. So all these people are at GrowthCon and are like, so it's like getting in this environment where if you want to grow, like, get around people that are like, and you can take away things like that, and they may sound cheesy, like little, but it's like they're all like little nuggets, and it's
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and it's
So even you being a total introvert and how you saw yourself, I mean, you're still out, getting on Facebook Lives and really stepping out of your comfort zone.
now,
Like,
yeah,
and just facing the fear and just doing it. And so I think a lot of people struggle with that, and I think that's what gets them stuck in that job. And they know that their life is just going day by day, and they feel like there's got to be more to life, but it's like, it's that fear of putting themselves out there, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, did you get in that coming out of your comfort zone, I mean, how did you handle, people that didn't take to you too well? Or did you ever have any experiences like that, just putting your brand out there in that way, and putting your face in the forefront of everything? And how did you handle it?
Yeah, the biggest decision that I made that affected a ton of areas of my life was to stop caring what other people thought about me. Stop
Yeah.
caring what anyone thinks, regardless of, and just because I realized up to that point, I was overly, and not in a bad way, but I was overly caring. I was trying to appease too much. I was trying to be the person, just taking into consideration too much about like what other people are going to think about me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the reaction is like, rather than just like letting me just be me, and just, so which resulted in this like weird, here's what I want to say, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be here, but my head is like, oh no, don't say that, and then I'm like all awkward and whatever. So
Oh gosh.
so, but once I stopped caring though, because it's like, oh, if I say this, people are going to think I'm stupid, or if I say that, people are going to think this of me, or But once I stopped caring, it takes exercise too. It's like it takes
Mm-hmm.
development, like it's over time, like it's
Mm-hmm.
in layers. But like it's freeing. It's so freeing, and the right people will be attracted to you, and people
Absolutely.
that don't belong in your life will either be repelled, or they'll
Or they'll
become
just leave.
haters. But then they
They'll
see
just leave. But those are the ones that watch you closely, right? All the time.
yeah.
Like, I mean, as much as they claim to not, support, but they watch with like, eagle's eyes. So how long did it take you to close your first, a 6-figure deal?
Okay, so the first six-figure deal was about 2.5 years into my career. So that's a full fix and flip, and so that's going in. We're buying the house. We're getting a great deal on the property. We're figuring out whatever it takes as far as a solution to buy the property at that price. Whatever we need to figure out for the seller, and a lot of the times it's creative solutions. And
Mm-hmm.
then we're going in. So we're getting a discount in that respect because we're solving a problem for them, and that could be that the place is a dump. Like, a lot of the times they just leave stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the condition of the property, so we can negotiate that down. But
Mm-hmm.
so we're really emphasizing it on the, oh man, like how can we like help, like sorry, like, oh man, this is bad, like this is going to take a while, kind of stuff, but also like we want to provide a solution. So that helps us get we negotiate a price, but then we combine that with the value we add through the renovation, and then together we've got a pretty sweet profit. And that's how we do it. So fix and flip, totally doable with that. We average about 51,000 per deal, but there you get those home runs that are 125, and it's even possible actually on wholesale deals, which are basically you're just flipping paper, which one of my students actually has shown me up, and in fact, I guess that's the ultimate success that I could ask for. Closed a $255,000 wholesale deal.
Wow!
Like
so anybody can do this. I mean, do you need a license? Like special. You have to get licensed in your state, or how does that all work?
You don't need a license. I started without a license. I went back and forth in my head forever about it, and it really depends on what your goals are. You don't need a license to do it, though. To get started, you're operating as you buy and sell houses, from that standpoint. No, you're just making an offer directly, like a for sale by owner would deal with a private party buyer that approached the owner based on their sign in front of the property.
But training, though, would be needed, right? To understand the processes involved and things like that. I mean, you invested in a mentor and training when you got started, because you've tried a few other things before you started, getting into real estate and being a real estate entrepreneur. How did that training process work, and, the trial and error from when you first started to, closing your first 6-figure deal?
Sure. Yeah, no, for me, it was a long process, because I stumbled into it. I tried affiliate marketing before. I had an auto detailing business. I didn't get enough after the bike polishing. I had to go into auto detailing. And then even then that didn't work out eventually, but I found myself, wholesaling. I heard about this thing, but I'm still working at Verizon. So I was putting in enough time based on, working 45 hours a week, still, finding the time in there to study real estate. And for me, it was a lot of YouTube videos, podcasts, and a lot of Bigger Pockets. It's a forum. So where there's a bunch of posts. It's like the biggest real estate forum, biggerpockets.com. And between those 3 resources, that's where I was able to piece together an idea. Like I had a puzzle kind of, and I had to figure out, with kind of with hints, because I'm like, but I didn't exactly know which one was step 1 and which one was step 2. I knew which, to a degree, like, this is somewhere in the beginning of the process, this is somewhere in the end, but like, then figuring that out, that's where a lot of the just trial and error came.
Wow.
And, but eventually I did it. I just kept taking action, just knowing what my end goal was, and then knowing that just constantly just taking the next step right in front of me, and just figuring out what's the next step. And that's what got me there.
Yeah.
Deal where I did a wholesale deal on a mobile home and flipped it made $6,500 on it. Basically put it under contract for 50, and sold it for 59. There was a family that needed more space, and so they wanted to relocate. So I was able to get them a cash deal. The house needed a bunch of work, so they didn't want to list it, and ended up selling it to a cash buyer.
Yeah.
I never thought that it would be necessarily like a mobile home that I'd flip. Like, no one ever taught me about that. No one ever said like, hey, this would be what you do like within this situation. But I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'll take it. It's a lead. Like, let's run with it.
That's amazing. And so now you provide your own training from, just all the information that you've gathered and the trial and error that you've gone through. I mean, you didn't actually, invest in a web-based training or like a web class or anything like that. You just literally taught yourself and just started researching?
Later on, I did my
Later on.
first couple deals that way.
Yeah.
And then I realized, okay, I'm kind of not, I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it. I did my first flip,
Yeah.
but I still needed help. And actually, at that point, I have a mentor. At that point, I joined with a guy named Justin Williams, who's actually since retired from house flipping himself. But he really showed me all the systems and stuff to take it to the next level, where it got me to basically like from I had some success, but business already, and so I implemented that kind of stuff and basically the processes and stuff and systems to take it to like, okay, this is no longer a hobby. This is like, okay, an actual thing. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely have contributed to my growth. I would say, like, and looking back, I'm like, oh man, if I did that from the start, my growth would have
speed up the process. Yeah. Wow. So this is where, investing in yourself and investing in mentorship and investing in training is so important. I mean, there's obviously, YouTube is filled with information and people can go out there and click around and research and try to, get the information themselves. But when you're learning from somebody that's been through the trial and the error and, gathered all that information, then it just makes it, and then you mentorship too, because they kind of get access to you with, questions that they might have along the way. So Daniel Rios, I just want to shout him out. Thanks so much for tuning in, Daniel. He says, nice. Congrats on your success, Jeremy. Jada is loving the content and the information. She's saying, wow, that's amazing. And then also Daniel made a comment, said, I never worry about the opinion of others. The right people will gravitate to you. And that's exactly what you had said, like will attract like. They either vibe with you or they don't. You just got to go out there and be yourself. So, last question, Jeremy, you obviously, you did 13 years of retail sales, right? I mean, now you're living life on your own terms. And, how is it now compared to, of course, I'm sure a lot of people would want to know this, new aspiring entrepreneurs, but from where you were, working a job to now being an entrepreneur, share, one or two major things that is like obviously different, but then other people can also like get and learn from, like in terms of the feeling that comes with being your own boss, versus clocking at a job.
The feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like,
I feel like that's a heavy loaded question because I feel like there's so many great feelings to it.
Yeah, and that's totally, I wasn't expecting that question. So let's see. It's freedom. Ultimately, it's freedom, but it's on you. Like, it's freedom, but it's on me. Like, that's for some people, they'll love that. And for other people, they won't. And I think if that's meant for you, like, you'll know, like, you'll know, like, I think inside, like, I think I knew for a long time, like, I always knew I wanted I wanted my own business.
Yeah.
But it comes with, it doesn't run unless you make it run, or unless you make it up to run. So it is on you. But the reward with that is just, I mean, it's something that you can build for, that you can literally create something that you can pass down to
a legacy,
to the next generation.
That's what it's about.
Right. So compared to, just exchanging my time for money, which I think everyone should grow financially, growing at their financial IQ beyond just working, for at minimum into, a second stream or beyond, passive investments, even real estate or other, because I'm trading my time for hours. I mean, I guess you could look at it like I still do, but I do it on my terms.
On your terms, yep.
And I'm doing exactly what I feel I'm meant to do. I mean, I love every moment of it. So
that's huge. Oh my gosh, that's huge. And I really feel like it's important for people to hear this because, like you said, it's not a guarantee, even a job. I mean, people get laid off and you're letting them determine what your worth is. And there's just so many different things to it. But people feel like it's that security blanket, it's like secure. And in reality, I mean, would you rather clock in and be in an illusion of security, or have it be all on you? And it takes a lot. I mean, entrepreneurship is obviously not easy. Daniel says, I embrace the responsibility that comes with the personal freedom, or that comes with personal freedom, or what it comes with. So that's huge right there. Jada also says having a mentor is important in anything that you do. So what are your 3 major keys? And I know that I said that was my last question, but I promise this will be my last one, because I could literally be on here with you for like an hour, because I'm just learning so much too. So what are the 3 major keys every aspiring entrepreneur should develop or have in order to really see success, in their journey as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, vision. First and foremost, vision. Know where you need to go, where you want to go. You got to figure out where you want to go. You got to have that. And then know what the next step is. Like, always know those two things. Don't worry so much about everything in between there. You'll figure that out.
Yeah.
At least at minimum, know those 2 things. Number 2 is take massive action. You're not taking enough. Everyone, I guarantee, is not taking enough action on this call, including myself. Like, you can always do more. Like, you can always do more. There's always a higher gear. There's always a next level. And it'll seem impossible until, like, shifting from 3rd to 6th will bog you down if you just do it. But once you're ready, you're running, you're up there, and still got more power. Like, but you won't realize that till you get there. So it's just constantly pushing yourself. And the way you do that, so it's massive action, but it's outside. Here's the 3rd one. It's outside of your comfort zone. It's got to be out. You got to constantly be pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone in every area. And it's weird, because your comfort zone's like a shadow. It catches up, like it'll catch up to you, like at every, like as soon as, like, it'll constantly be there. So it's like you constantly have to try to outrun it. But you'll catch yourself not. It's weird. It's like when you get comfortable, you don't realize it because you're comfortable. But then you realize, wait, so you're probably, and so more often you realize the result is you're no longer growing.
Yeah.
But because it's easy to be comfortable and not notice. But just being aware of that and just knowing that the growth, it occurs outside of the comfort zone, and you can collapse the time during which you grow personally or a business or anything with the amount of action that's taken. So
yeah, that is so amazing. Daniel says, I couldn't agree more with Jeremy. This was awesome. Thank you so much for this. Where can the MTL viewers find you, Jeremy?
The best place to find me is going to be Instagram at The Friendly Flipper, or on Facebook at The Friendly Flipper. But I'm much more active on Instagram. I'm on there every day, especially in the stories. That's where you can see what I do from, day to day, walking houses to talking to contractors to making offers to working with students to, share it all on there. And that'd be the best place, Instagram.
So I'm going to put that right here on the screen. And, I want to say thank you so much for your time tonight. Everybody that's tuned in, definitely make sure that you guys go check out Jeremy Rubin, the Friendly Flipper. I have his Instagram going across the screen. MTL viewers, I really appreciate it. Did I get it right?
Oh, it's the 3 words, The Friendly Flipper.
Got it. Okay, we'll have to change it up, but I'll drop it in the comments. Guys, that's it for tonight. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Definitely make sure that you guys are sharing out. Go ahead and subscribe on the YouTube channel. I'll drop the Instagram and Facebook links for Jeremy in the comments, so you guys definitely want to go check him out. Thank you again. Great stuff tonight. Great stuff tonight. Guys, have an amazing night. This is Marsie McCann with Marsie Talks Live signing off, and Jeremy Rubin. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.